all good.
From 1969 when Stonewall happened, and early 1980s, it was extraordinary.
It was this wonderful joy of living and experiencing and growing and being yourself and being part of the community.
Coming to Sydney is like coming to a party town.
You know, there's a number of times I've finished having sex and pulled up my pants and people go,
I'm John.
nice to meet you.
If you stood on Oxford, say the corner of Crown and Oxford, which was the peak area, you know, about 100 people walked past, 95 of them would be gay men.
I was at a beat and I got together with this guy who had a van parked at the top of the park. So we went and we got into his van and we're having sex and lo and behold the police turn up. So, you know, they're shining torches in and they get us out of the van, they've separated us and we're, you know, and they're asking questions and the guy who's interviewing the person I was with kind of was going,
What's going on with this bloke, mate? What, is he deaf or something?
and I said, what? And he said,
What's wrong with your mate? Is he deaf?
and I went, I don't know.
Wherever you worked, there was prejudice against you.
But within that, there was tremendous creative drive and energy and freedoms.
I'm just trying to remember when I started going to the sauna. I think it was around 1980 or 81.
I just remember the summer of 1981 to 1982.
I used to go to the Roman Bath in the Pitt Street, and I remember some other gay friends who sort of turned their noses up at people going to sex on premises venues saying,
Oh, you don't want to do that. You might catch more than a cold in there.
that was the first thing that I can actually remember, and me thinking, oh god, they're prudes, aren't they?
It was blue and it was crystal clear and it was so much fun.
And you know, people were all starting to talk about it, and it was getting a lot of publicity. This strange disease that was happening amongst the 4 H's. Homosexuals, hookers, heroin users, and haemophiliacs.
This was serious. Something was going on. It was reported as attacking gay men and it couldn't be identified and it didn't look very good.
Get ready. Make sure your condoms are fresh. Check the expiration date. Throw away condoms that have expired, been very hot, carried around in your wallet, or washed in the washer. If you think the condom might not be good, get a new one. You and your partner are worth it. That dick has to be hard before you put a condom on it. Open it, tear open the package carefully so you don't rip the condom. Careful if you use your teeth. Get the banana. You'll see it is rolled down onto itself with a fingertip-like piece sticking out of the middle. The roll should be to the outside, just like if you roll your socks down on your legs down to your knees. Once you know which way the roll should be on the condom, very gently pull the fingertip-like section so that it is not stuck to any other part of the condom. Hold the banana between your knees. Oh, it will be easier to have the curve go away from you. Place the fingertip-like piece right at the top of the banana, but do not pull that part over the banana. You want the fingertip-like part sticking out and off the banana. Move the rolled part over the banana. Try to do it evenly, applying both sides, all sides, straight and even. A crooked condom is hard to get off. Once the rolled part is snugly on the first part of the banana, gently roll the condom down the banana. It will probably seem baggy and ill-fitting, since the banana is skinnier than an erect penis. Guys, practice putting on a condom in a comfortable place where you have plenty of time by yourself. You know what we mean. Practice makes perfect, and will impress your partner.
Our initial advice was because there is no benefit out of testing, and because there was harm because of notification, you had to tell and name all your sexual contacts, so it's just don't get tested. Just assume everyone's positive.
There were people who, within the gay community, despised people who got sick. Because it frightened. Because they didn't want to be sick either.
It's flawed advice though, because really what people were assuming was that everyone was negative, instead of that everyone was positive.
I caught the moment when, the moment before safe sex was the norm, and so I certainly wasn't consistent about safe sex at the time, and so yeah, I just remember it was a very confusing time, I guess, but it might have been for anyone that age, I guess.
So testing produced a different reality. For many gay men, they didn't know anyone who was tested. So if you didn't play in those scenes and you were just well behaved and professional and you might have 5 or 6 gay friends and it didn't affect you. But if you were on those playing networks, it was just devastating. And so you know, The first wave of horror was when thousands of people got tested and thousands of people were dealing with positive results.
1983, The Facts on AIDS, The Gay Plague, by Reverend Fred Nile, MLC. Homosexual practices are the main factor in the spread of AIDS, especially the anonymous multiple nature of the perversions. For example, a student counsellor at a New South Wales university boasted on an ABC TV documentary of 2,000 anonymous encounters in public toilets.
It has manifested itself in the incredible emphasis on physical fitness and the body build, which wasn't important in the early pre-AIDS days, but now there's a sort of almost narcissistic attitude towards the body. You had to be toned. You had to have a six-pack. That increased during that period, and was a reaction to people getting sick.
And I came in because at that stage, yes, a number of my friends had been diagnosed positive, and yeah, it was considered a death sentence, which it was. And mine came back, and he said,
No, it's negative.
and I immediately asked him to do another test. I mean, I said, well, it can't be. It's not like I've been sitting around doing nothing. I mean, hello, I've been busy, and you know, it's just ridiculous. I mean, how could everybody else have caught this bug, and how in God's name am I lucky enough to have missed it?
Mrs. M.W., formerly Sister Mary Maria. Location, standing behind my husband. Liberace died from AIDS and is burning in hell. Liberace, that glitter and feathered festooned fairy pianist, contracted the AIDS from his unfettered sodomy with hairy, leather-clad men and smooth-cheeked young boys, and is now burning in the flames of hell. The sad thing is, he's not the only one. Following is only a small portion of famous sodomites who angered God enough with their flagrant violation of his natural laws that he struck them down with AIDS. Famous dead sodomites.
Rock Hudson.
Fred Mercury.
Ryan White.
Robert Reed.
This means the Brady Bunch isn't wholesome entertainment.
Den Homo Elliott.
Africa.
Amanda Blank.
Miss Kitty in Gunsmoke.
Grandpa Walton.
Oh, they've taken the Waltons down with them.
Elizabeth Starsky.
Howard Ashman.
Arthur Ashe.
Matthew Shepard.
Tina Brandon.
Comic, Rudolph Nureyev.
Pornographer, Robert Mapplethorpe.
Militant atheist Isaac Asimov.
Oh, look, this list could go on and on, but my fingers are getting tired from all the typing, and I don't have years to type out millions of names. Not when the rapture could happen any moment now.
It was a shocking thing to watch it happen and to know that you couldn't do anything about it. The most appalling thing, and Jose was one of many friends, all in their 20s, I think. Yes. And here one day and gone the next, almost within months, within 10 months. People would be okay and you wouldn't see them for a little while, and then they'd turn up and you'd say, how are you? And they'd say,
Oh, not very well, I've got this thing.
and at that moment you knew that they were going to be dead.
I just noticed this guy in the corner of the ward, and he was always on his own, every time. And we were there all the time. And one day I went to him and started talking to him. He had that skeletal thing they all got. It's hideous, you know, that look, how much longer have I got? And he said,
No, I haven't got anyone.
I said, no friends, no family.
No.
I said, what about you? I said, come on, just try it. So I just gave him something to eat. I started chatting to him. I remember that I put my hand on his arm, as I do because I'm a tactile person. I didn't even realise he did it, but he put his hand on top of my hand and he started crying. I said, what's wrong? He said,
I haven't been touched for so long.
I said, sweetheart, let me give you a hug. So I gave him a hug.
And when he died, his funeral was just the most leather-clad funeral you've ever seen. It really packed, absolutely packed. And his casket was drawn in this kind of horse-drawn black casket in a black and glass kind of horse and buggy with horses and feathers on their heads. It was just a complete performance, and he'd just gone OTT. It was great. Yeah. Stump sex.
The thing that made gay men hang together was stigmatisation. HIV provided the glue, and so community became more important. Once that all changed, there really no glue. There's no reason to be.
By the time I turned 40, I realised that more than half my friends were dead.
Oh, it was a bloody great hole.
I just think that every day is amazing, you know? I've lasted another day. It's kind of like, wow, I'm still here. 27 years later, it's kind of like, how did I, and in some ways, I feel guilty about that. How did I manage to make it this far?
I was sitting there once at a funeral thinking, I can't cry anymore. I just can't cry. And I was overwhelmed.
It was a horrible time. I feel very lucky that things swung the way that they did for me, and my life trundles on. I fall over and get up and rush off and keep going, and I think I'm incredibly lucky for that.
I've only just started crying in the last 3 years. It's only on certain occasions. And it's at odd times when it's at certain people's funerals. And sometimes I think, I know some tears are about you, but some tears are actually catching up.
Oh, it's easy to think, you know, look back and sort of think, oh, all we were doing was going to funerals. No. There were bright sunny days as well. Some of those funerals happened on bright sunny days.
Consider compassion. Consider being compassionate. Consider, work hard to try and understand the difference between disease and moral failing, because disease is not moral failing and deserves compassion, not judgment.
We're talking about that period when the sky was sparkling and it was all blue.
And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world.